If you own a Switch or a Switch 2 and you love turn-based RPGs, you're in the right place. I put together a list of the 10 best ones you can play right now, from classics to brand new releases. Let's get into it. Persona 3 Reload is a full, ground-up remake of the 2006 JRPG that basically defined what modern Persona is. You play as a transfer student who discovers a hidden hour that appears every night at midnight, where normal people get locked in coffins and monsters called shadows roam free. You join a group called Seas and start climbing a tower called Tartarus to fight them. During the day, you're living like a regular high schooler, going to class, joining clubs, building friendships that actually power you up in battle. At night, you're grinding through floors of Tartarus, hitting enemy weaknesses, and pulling off all-out attacks. The shift system lets you chain attacks across the party after landing a critical hit. Your personas are creatures born from your inner self that you collect, fuse, and customize. The story gets heavy. It deals with death, grief, and what it means to keep living, and it earns every emotional punch it throws.
Here's your chance to attack. Enemy down. Keep that up, Iori.
Now, give them hell.
Unicorn Overlord. This one came out of nowhere and absolutely floored people. You play as Elan, a prince in exile trying to take back his kingdom from a corrupt empire. The story is straightforward, but the characters carry it. There are over 60 of them, and almost everyone gets their own conversations, backstory, and personality. The gameplay is where things get wild. You build squads of units, set their tactics and formations ahead of time, then send them into real-time battles on a massive world map. You're not pressing buttons in combat, you're outsmarting the fight before it starts. Positioning, class matchups, terrain, stamina, valor points, it all matters. You can pause anytime to redirect units or use abilities. The open world is huge, and you can go in almost any direction after the opening. Missions have strict time limits, and one wrong move can mean starting over.
You'll see no harm. I shall protect you.
Persona 5 Royal is the definitive version of Persona 5 and one of the most stylish games ever made. You play as a high school student who can enter a twisted world called the Metaverse, where the corrupt desires of awful adults take physical form as palaces. You and your crew, the Phantom Thieves, infiltrate these places to steal the hearts of terrible people and make them confess to their crimes in real life. Combat is slick. Hit an enemy's weakness, knock them down, hold them all down, then hit them all at once with an all-out attack. The Baton Pass system lets you chain your party's turns together after landing weakness hits. Outside of dungeons, you're living a double life, going to school, working part-time jobs, hanging out with friends, and building confidant relationships that unlock perks and power boosts. Royal adds a brand new semester, a new character, and a whole new arc that recontextualizes everything. Pokémon Legends Arceus threw out the Pokémon rulebook, and honestly, it was about time. Instead of gym battles and a linear story, you're dropped into the ancient Hisui region, what will one day become Sinnoh, and tasked with completing the very first Pokédex. The gameplay loop is completely different. You sneak through the open world, observe Pokémon in the wild, and throw Pokéballs in real time before battle even starts. Catching without battling is totally valid and actually encouraged. When battles do happen, a new, agile, and strong style system lets you spend extra energy to attack faster or hit harder, changing the turn order on the fly. Alpha Pokémon roam the world as massive, aggressive versions of regular species, and they're genuinely intimidating. The story involves mysterious space-time rifts opening over Hisui, and a Lord Pokémon losing its mind with frenzy. Pokémon Scarlet and Violet are the first fully open-world mainline Pokémon games. You pick up and go anywhere. There's no order you have to follow. You've got 3 story paths running at once, taking on gym leaders, hunting down a rogue group called Team Star, and chasing Titans, which are massive, super-powered Pokémon scattered across the region. Each gym, Titan, and Team Star boss can be tackled in almost any order, so the world actually feels open rather than just looking like it. The new gimmick is terastallizing, which lets Pokémon shift their type mid-battle and either shore up their weaknesses or go nuclear with their strongest moves. You also get a legendary Pokémon that transforms into a bike, boat, or glider to help you explore. The co-op lets up to 4 players roam the world together. The story has a surprisingly emotional payoff given how breezy the early game feels. Triangle Strategy is a political war story in a gorgeous HD 2D world, and it earns every bit of praise it gets. You play as Serenoa, heir to a noble house, caught between three kingdoms fighting over salt and iron. Two resources that sound boring until the game makes you feel the weight of every barrel. The biggest mechanic is the scales of conviction. When a major decision has to be made, your companions vote on what to do, and you can try to sway them by gathering information, making the right choices, and playing to their values. Your convictions, whether you lean toward liberty, morality, or utility, affect who joins your army and which story path you land on. There are multiple endings and branching routes worth replaying. Battles are turn-based on grid maps, where positioning, height advantage, and environmental tricks like freezing water or burning barricades can flip a fight completely.
Charge!
Octopath Traveler 0 takes everything fans love about the series and expands it into one of the most exciting turn-based RPGs coming to Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. Instead of following multiple separate heroes, you create your own protagonist and set out on a journey through Orstera after your hometown is destroyed, choosing a path of restoration and retribution. Without spoiling the surprises ahead, the familiar break and boost combat system returns, rewarding smart strategy as you exploit enemy weaknesses and unleash powerful attacks at the perfect moment. This time, you can recruit more than 30 allies and build an 8-character party, creating deeper tactical battles than ever before. New features like town building, character customization, skill inheritance, and the return of path actions add even more freedom outside combat.
No, here goes nothing. It did be strong.
Let's end this.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is massive. You play as Byleth, a mercenary who becomes a professor at Garreg-Mach Monastery, a school divided into 3 houses: the Black Eagles, Blue Lions, and Golden Deer. You choose which house to lead and start building relationships with students you'll eventually take into battle. During school months, you plan lessons, boost student skills, build friendships, and set up your class exactly how you want. Any character can grow into almost any class if you put in the work. Then, the story hits a point that flips everything on its head, and the second half becomes a proper war game. Battles are turn-based grid strategy. Move units, hit weaknesses, manage battalions that let you deploy small armies for special attacks called gambits. There are 4 distinct routes through the game, each telling the same war from a different side, and changing who your allies and enemies are.
Was that helpful? I am maturing at a rapid pace.
Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. You play as Ramza Bulv, a young noble cadet caught in the middle of a brutal political war called the War of the Lions. 2 factions fighting over who sits the throne of Ivalice, while the common people suffer through it all. Battles play out on isometric grid maps, where height, positioning, and line of sight actually matter. A unit on high ground has more range. An attack from behind is always a critical hit. The job system is the real soul of it. Unlock classes like Samurai, Geomancer, Lancer, and Dancer. Mix a secondary job onto your primary, and stack abilities to build combinations that feel completely your own. This remaster adds full voice acting, 3 difficulty levels, autosave, a fast-forward button, and a lore tracker called State of the Realm to keep you caught up. It's the best version of a timeless classic. Dragon Quest XI's is the gold standard of traditional JRPGs. You play as the Luminary, a young man who discovers he's the reincarnation of a legendary hero, and set out across the vast world of Erdrea. The story is classic: prophecy, dark forces, friendship, sacrifice, and a world worth fighting for. But the execution is what separates it. Every town is its own self-contained story. Every party member, from the flamboyant Sylvando to the stoic Eric, has a personality that makes you genuinely care about them. Combat is clean, turn-based, with a skill grid system that lets you customize each character's growth over time. The fun-size forge lets you craft gear anywhere. The Switch version is the definitive one. It includes fully orchestrated music, character-focused side stories, and a full 2D mode that transforms the entire game into a 16-bit SNES-style RPG, completely playable from start to finish. All games are worth your time, whether you're new to turn-based RPGs or you've been playing them forever. Drop a comment telling me which one you're picking up first. Like and subscribe if this helped, and I'll see you in the next one.